Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I want to apologize. I guess the volume on my videos is low for some people. I have ordered a microphone. I am obviously going to do them better as time gets on. I'm one of those people that done is better than perfect. So I wanted to get started so I didn't have any more excuses or any holdups. So I promise the video quality will get better, the volume will get better, the lighting will get better, the background will get better, everything. But thank you for watching and for your feedback and for the messages that I've gotten over the last few days talking about how you feel like I am talking specifically to you. And if you're resonating with it that hard, then I am speaking to you because my soul has given me directions for whoever needs to hear it. It's getting ready to storm, so I wanted to blast out this video because I'm running late today because my niece and my bonus niece are coming this weekend. So I have been running around and trying to do some things, and I have a crap load of clients right now that I'm helping because the awakening symptoms are real. So as I start this video, it's 5:55 p.m. where I am, and I think that's a good sign. 5:55 is a sign of transition, of change, and I think that's what we're going through right now as a collective. And I want to thank you for being here and for resonating with these videos, and for subscribing and sharing, and we're going to grow. Do you hear me? We're going to grow, because I am worthy of an amazing YouTube channel. I am worthy of every good thing the universe would like to bring me, and so are you. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. So many of my clients and the people who have filled my inbox the last couple of days have talked about unworthiness and lack of self-love. They speak it to me in different languages and tell me the things that they're going through and say, how do you think I can work on this? If we were to coach or if we were to mentor, how would we work on this? And I want to tell you that your feelings of resentment a lot of times for other people, and your anger about how nobody has time for you, your feelings about giving and nobody giving back to you, feelings about being there for people and nobody being there for you. Just like I said in a million other videos, as within, so without. So what's happening is you are projecting resentment on them that is coming from you. It is not, it's not worrying about getting in relationships or getting in friendships where other people will take from you. The problem is this: you are taking from yourself. And then you're angry at other people for not giving back to you and filling the voids that you have created in yourself because you took from you and gave to them when you didn't have enough for you. You teach people how to take care of you. And if you are constantly putting you on the back burner, then other people automatically think that that's how you want to be treated because that's the way you treat yourself. Now, it's not intentional. It is an unconscious process. People understand that that's the way you want to be treated because you put yourself on the back burner. They think that you're fine. And so they don't feel like they can give sometimes. A lot of times when you're there for somebody, when you're really there for somebody, it's because they're going through a hard time, right? And you're there for them because they need somebody to be there. When somebody is in a place of needing somebody to just support and be around and love on them, they are not capable of filling you up. And I'm going to tell you a secret. Nobody is capable of filling you up. Your well is inside. You fill your own well from the inside. People can't get to your well and fill it for you. They can't lean your head back and pour water in and fill the well. Only you can. So what happens is is you fill your well and it overflows out into the world. And you're giving to other people. But when they give back to you, it's nice sometimes, but it doesn't fill you up because a lot of people can't receive. When we can't receive from other people, that's a sign that we can't receive from ourselves. As within, so without. I want you guys to get this pattern. As within, so without. I want you to start to learn that everything that's happening outside here is a reflection of in here. This will help you be able to dig in and figure out how to fix these problems on the outside. And we go, well, I can fix the problem. I can't fix the problem because the person is on the outside and I can't control them. Okay, great. You can't control them, but you can control who you let near you. We need to ask our soul. We need to ask the universe. You need to ask God. You need to ask Gaia, Yahweh, whatever you call your God, Bob, your higher power. Ask nature, ask whoever it is that you believe in to remove everything and everybody from you that's holding you back. Some of you won't. You know why? Because as soon as I said that, you thought about your spouse. You thought about your partner. You thought about your mother. You thought about your brother. You thought about somebody in your family. You thought about your best friend. You already know who needs to be removed. You just won't do it. A lot of times when we say we're stuck, I heard so many people today say, I'm stuck. I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I'm in a cycle that cannot end. I don't know what to do. And I almost feel like no matter what I do, I'm still going to be in this cycle. So I almost feel like I don't want to choose anything because it doesn't matter if I choose to go this way or this way. I feel like it all comes back in the same circle. I'm always going to end up right here. And here's the thing. Because you already know what you need to do, you've already made the decision, you just won't act on it. A lot of people say, I want to change, but then they don't start the actions to change. I really want to change. Well, if you really want to change, hire a coach, hire a mentor, tell them what you want, have somebody to hold you accountable. Have somebody who knows how to get there. Because you say, I really want to change. I told my best friend. Well, your best friend's in the same position you are, so they don't know how to hold you accountable. They don't know where the map is because they're not going there themselves. You need to find people that have already been there. Fill your brain with something productive. You know what I mean? If you want to go somewhere, you get a map, right? Get a map. You look it up on GPS. You look for directions. You ask Google. You ask the GPS because the GPS knows how to get there. You wouldn't ask somebody, if you asked somebody and they said, I don't know, I've never been there, you wouldn't go, okay, well, I guess I don't need food recommendations and stuff. I'm not going to take them from you. So why do we do that with our people? Why do we shout out on Facebook and say, this is my problem, what would you do about it? And then fight with people when they give you solutions. You have to want to change no matter what. No matter what that changes in your life. You have to get to a place inside you where you're so unhappy and you're so discontent that it doesn't matter what gets taken away. I want to know where I'm supposed to go. I want to know the answers to these questions. I want to know my purpose. I want to know who I'm supposed to be, why I'm here. I want to know what I'm supposed to be doing. I want to know what my gifts are. I want to know what I'm contributing to humanity. I want to know what my purpose is in the collective. You have to want to know those things so badly that when you ask the question, it doesn't matter what the answer is. You seek it. You have to get to that place. And getting to that place means that you have to surround yourself with people who have been there. You have to get advice from people who know what they're talking about. You have to get encouragement from people. You have to have somebody to help you weed through what's normal and what's not. You ever been in a situation, you're like, I've never been in this situation before. I don't even know if that's normal or not. you have to have somebody to call and say, hey, I don't know if this is normal. Sometimes they go, oh, you're looking at this the wrong way. That's totally normal, but let's reframe how you're looking at it and change your perspective, because this is going to change everything about the process. Part of the issue is this. We understand that change is scary. We look at it as scary. Why? I don't know. Because we should look at it as exciting. We should always look at it as exciting. We have these drawbacks. We have these fears in our human that's programmed in, and we feed them. You ever seen that thing? We have two wolves. Whichever one wins is whichever one you feed. Don't feed your fears. Don't spiral out and feed your fears and give them more fears. When other people start to feed your fears, you go, no, I don't feed that dog. It's not yours. Don't touch it. It's in timeout. You know, it's an emotional support animal. Don't pet it. Don't feed it. It's mine. Back away from it. Don't feed that dog. You feed the one that says, I can move forward. The universe has me. Whatever my soul directs me to is for me, and it's going to work out the way that it's meant to, always. Okay, but you have to feed these things. One of the biggest things that I have to entrench in my clients is this: overthinking. Our brain talks over our soul constantly. It's our human. So I always tell people that's your programming. That's your societal programming. That's what you've learned is acceptable, is good, is unacceptable, is bad. You know? And none of those things are true. We just assign those things those meanings. Haven't you seen that some things that were acceptable, it wasn't acceptable for women to vote before, but now we vote, and it's just understood. It wasn't acceptable for women to wear pants for a while, or makeup, or put their hair, cut their hair. It wasn't acceptable for, a lot of things in life, and all of that's changed. We learn and we grow all the time. So what your version of acceptable is not my version of acceptable, and I don't want it in my life. So stop trying to impose it on me. My soul tells me what's acceptable for me. I don't care what society says about me. I don't care what my neighbors say about me. I don't care what my family says about me. You know why? Because my soul tells me who I am. My soul. And as long as I'm my own damn hero, that's all that matters. If you're not your own damn hero, that's the problem. Ask yourself what you need to do to be your own damn hero. And if you're not doing those things, start fucking right now doing them. Because that's the most important thing on this planet, period. That's your purpose, is to be your own fucking hero. You can look at other people and say, yeah. I look at other people and I get direction from other people. I have mentors. I have coaches. You know why? Because I can't tell you to do it if I'm not willing to do it. I would never advise somebody to do something that I'm not doing my own fucking self. I would never advise you to look inward and to do work that I haven't done or that I am not willing to do. Looking inside is scary. This is not a gimmick. You need to be exactly who you say you are. Okay? If you're speaking it out of your mouth, it needs to be facts. Somebody should be able to come over to your house and see it in action every second of every day. And I'm not saying there aren't moments where you don't get lost and you get bogged down, but I'm saying that there should be enough of a pattern that they should know that that's who you are. You know a person that's fake? You know that person who says, oh, blah, 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 blah. And you go, yeah, that's exactly how they are. Oh, I would never mess with people's money. I would never, talk to somebody's, friend about them. I would never. Yeah, you would. You do it all the time. You know when people are full of shit? Other people are not stupid. We see patterns. We know. We just kind of roll our eyes and leave it as it is. Call them out. I call people out all the time. I say, really? Because we just had this conversation, and in three lines in Messenger, you contradicted yourself. So which is it? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to understand so that I know where we stand. Call people out in a loving way that lets them know that other people see their bullshit. But call yourself out. Like, be accountable to yourself. I would never call people out if I won't call myself out. I want people to call me out. That's why I do it to other people. I want you to treat me like that. I want you to call me on my own bullshit. If you see bullshit, please yell it out at me because I need to look into it. You know what I mean? I love that because I love to check my motivations. I have a whole tribe that checks my motivations. My best friends, they're always like, wait, why are we doing this? Tell me what's behind that. And then if I'll give them my answer, and if it's good enough, they go, okay, carry on. I can tell you looked into that. But if it's not good enough, they say, no, tap on that a little more. And then we're going to talk about this tomorrow and tell me what you found. And they keep me accountable. Why? That's the tribe that you need. If you don't have that, then you've cluttered your life up and your space up with people who are supporting the fears and the doubts. They're feeding the wrong wolf. Don't let people feed your wolves. Don't. Okay? And you need to be feeding the right one. You need to look at every thought that you think, every feeling that you have, and say, which wolf is that feeding? Take an inventory. Take an inventory of every thought that you have during the day. You go, is that productive? No. So one of the things that I teach my overthinkers is this. You would never, ever, ever let another person speak to you the way that you speak to yourself. If your mind, your internal voice, was somebody else, was another human, and they spoke to you the way that you speak to you inside your head, you would punch them in the mouth. And I always tell people, if you had them in your back seat and you were driving, you would get pissed off and pulled over and tell them to get out. So why do you allow it in your head? Why do you allow it to take up space in your body? Why do you allow it to like regurgitate in there over and over? Why do you obsess about it? So what I tell people is name that voice, name your internal voice, that brain voice that speaks with negativity, that speaks with doubt, that speaks with fear. Name that voice another name. Name it something that you don't like. Okay? I call mine Felicia. That way I can say, bye, Felicia. But name it whatever you want. Okay? But name it something that's not scary. Name it something that you feel like is weak or stupid. You know why? Because that voice is not scary. Once you start speaking back to it, that voice is not scary. So name it something fun. Name it something, name it something that's weak and that you think is ridiculous. And when it starts to kick in and you're obsessing, you need to say out loud, call that voice by name and say, we can't, your brain is just going and it's going, we can't do that. We can't start a YouTube. Nobody will watch it. As soon as that stuff would come up, I would say, Felicia, no. And I would just say it out loud. That is not productive and it's not even true. And I would speak back to her like somebody that was a naysayer to my friend. I would never let somebody speak to my friend like that. I have a friend whose parents don't speak to her very nice. You ask her, like, I'm not quiet about it. If they start in on her and she just shrinks up because she was an abused child, I stop them and I say, no, this is her house and we're not going to speak to her that way. And if she won't ask you to leave, on her behalf, I'm going to ask you to leave because we're not going to speak to her that way. She's an adult and we're going to ask you to leave. And she trusts me to do that. She knows I'm going to do that. She invites me over specifically to do that because sometimes it overwhelms her and in the healing process that she's in right now, she is unable to speak up for herself sometimes. But she knows that I will, that I have her. Surround yourself with those people that have you. But if you don't have you, you've got to learn to find your voice, to speak up against your own internal voices. You are never going to be able to speak up to other physical people outside yourself if you can't speak up against yourself and say, no, I'm going to stop speaking to myself like this. So when that stuff comes in, I just reframe it. But by speaking it out loud and calling that voice by name, naming it something else and calling it by name, it disrupts that thinking pattern and it teaches your brain not to go down that path. If you just let it go, it spirals. And it's what I call disaster baiting. It goes from, oh my God, that chest pain, it just hurt a little bit. Oh, it must be indigestion. Oh my God, it could be a heart attack. Am I having an anxiety attack? Do I need to go to the hospital? I'm probably going to die. How long do you think it'll take the ambulance to get here? What if they can't get here? What if I die? What if my child finds me? What? And you know those people that just disaster bait. You know when you get like that. It's disaster baiting. Stop that. Literally, I speak out loud and I say, it is literally just indigestion. Or it's literally just a passing pain. Shush. Enough of that. Why are we getting ourselves worked up over nothing? And it stops. And after this is the way that you retrain your brain. Okay? This is the way that you rewire and reformat. This is the way you quiet your mind and don't let your anxiety overwhelm you and overcome you. This is how you learn to make 5-second decisions, to hear your soul, to hear your guides. You know why you can't hear your guides? You know why you can't hear your higher self? You know why you can't meditate? Because you're not mastering your mind. You're not in control. You're letting it control you. Okay? Here's a question. Would you ever let your foot control you? No, you wouldn't. That's ridiculous. Would you ever let your hand control you? No, you wouldn't. That's ridiculous. So why are you letting this? Why are you letting this negative part of you control you? No. Okay? You just name it something else and call it out. Okay? It works. And you have to do it consistently. And literally just say it out loud. It doesn't matter if people think you're crazy or not. It's a great conversation starter. Like, I wouldn't even say it loud sometimes. You just have to say it. If it starts in like a grocery store or something, you just breathe it under your breath. No. No. And literally nowadays, people are on their phones so much. Pull your phone out in public, look at it like you're reading a text and go, no. No. And then close your phone and put it back in your wallet. Put it back in your pocket. Put it back in your purse. Whatever it is. Why? Because they're going to think you're saying, no, this is stupid to a text. No, this is stupid to an email. You're not. You're saying it to your brain. Your brain knows who you're speaking to. But it stops that thought pattern. And it helps you to gain control. Because once your brain learns no, then what happens is it learns its real place. And that's to let your soul speak and be heard. And then to back your soul up and build a strategy. Your brain is not for decisions. Your soul has already made all your decisions. You just need to learn to listen. As soon as your soul speaks, your brain's job is to create a strategy to get you there. Your soul goes, we're going to move to so-and-so. Your brain automatically goes, awesome, I'm going to get started on the plans. It doesn't speak out. If your soul speaks and you feel something inside that you really want to do, and then all of a sudden you have all these objections, we can't do that. We don't have enough money. We can't move there. We don't know anybody. We won't have any support. We won't have any of this. If that voice, if that internal voice is speaking with fear and doubt, that is not your soul. That's your brain. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Your brain is never going to try to talk you out of something that was its idea. You hear me? And your soul's not going to try to talk you in or talk you out of anything. Your soul speaks with surety. It says what it says and you listen or you don't. It's like your internal GPS. You ever set a course? Your GPS knows exactly where you're going, right? And then you ever try to argue with it? It's like turn right. And you're like, why are we turning right? The GPS doesn't go, well, your GPS goes turn right. If you don't turn right and you go straight, guess what your GPS does? It says recalculating. And it formulates a new plan to get you exactly where you're supposed to go. You know, now we're going to take a detour because you didn't listen the first time. Now we're going to have to go through a bunch of traffic because you wouldn't listen. Now we're going to have to sit in traffic and battle, an accident. We're going to have to see some things that we didn't need to see. We're going to have to be exposed to some events that we didn't need to be exposed to, some people that we didn't need to be exposed to, but you didn't listen. So now we are. Here we are. But guess what? We're going to swing back around. We're going to end up right in the same place. But now you've wasted a lot of time and you've created a lot of chaos in your life that all could have been avoided if you listened the first time. You ever found that to be true? You feel something inside, you resist it, you resist it, you resist it. And then 10 years later, you go, you know what? 15 years ago, I knew I was supposed to move here, but I didn't. I talked myself out of it. And then I got married and I did this and I ended up in an abusive relationship and I ended up here. And now 10 years later, here I am. Right back where I knew I should have gone in the first place. But lessons learned. And that's the way you have to look at it. But if you listen right when your soul nudges you, right when the universe nudges you, there's always resources to catch you. Always. Okay, so I know a lot of you right now are going through these awakening symptoms. I know a lot of you are going through this overthinking. And so I just wanted to give you tips today to help reprogram and reformat. You need to not let your brain run away with you right now. Okay, we need to stay calm and we need to learn to tap into our soul and listen to that soul voice. It's getting very loud lately. And the more you try to push it down and ignore it, the more damage is going to be done. Okay, so I want to thank you again for tuning in, for your subscribes, for your shares, for your emails. I have a link in the description below if you want to follow me on my Facebook page, if you want to follow me on my Instagram, if you want to get a private reading, or if you want to talk about mentoring and spiritual guidance. It's all down there. So let's push on and let's keep pushing forward. All right, and I'll see you tomorrow.